Very, very special guest, former Auburn head coach, former Arkansas assistant coach, Gus Malzahn joins us fresh off retirement. Coach, first of all, I have to ask you, I have to ask all the people who do something for so long, and you were in coaching for more than 3 decades, and now you're retired. How does it feel? I know you're still fresh off of the announcement.
Yeah, it's day three. It feels really weird getting up, not having to be somewhere. When you do something for 35 years and all of a sudden you change, it's been a little different. But at the same time, man, it's been fun with me and Christy. And, we're back home with our parents in Arkansas and fixing to visit with some friends of ours.
Absolutely. When you think back at your time, especially at Auburn specifically, because obviously there was a lot of success there, what are some of those moments and some of the things that come to mind, both as an offensive coordinator and as a head coach?
Yeah, first of all, man, we love Auburn. It was an unbelievable experience for myself, for our family. Great times. Got a chance to coach Cam Newton. I mean, that was a really, really special time, a really special year too, and to win a national championship. And then I got a chance to come back, and spend 8 years as head coach, and it was a great honor to represent Auburn. And we had some really good teams, we had some really good players, and man, nothing but just great memories.
Yeah, and speaking on Cam Newton, what sticks out to you the most about his personality from when you coached him there on the Plains?
Yeah, I mean, when Cam came to Auburn, I mean, he's not the same Cam he is today. I mean, you talk about a guy that, man, he was focused. He was a great leader. He was hungry, and, he allowed me to coach him hard. And, what he did is it'll go down as one of the better seasons, if not the best seasons for a quarterback to ever play the game. And so it was just really neat for me to be a part of and watch him do his thing and elevate our team and, the players around him to have a chance to win the whole thing.
Absolutely. So much changed in coaching over your time in college football, and so much of college football has changed as well. Give me some of the things that are good and some of the things that you might want to see change a little bit in college football now. I know it could be a broad topic, but maybe the 4 or 5 biggest things that you have seen since when you started in college football to where it is now.
Well, of course, the NIL, I mean, it's almost like a new profession in a way, as far as recruiting and retaining players. I mean, so something has to be done to at least get some guardrails on that. When you're dealing with the players and you're on the field in the meetings, it feels the same way. I mean, it's just probably more of a challenge each year. You have a new team. Like, most of these programs are going to have half the team going to be new. So, that's the biggest challenge, I think, for coaches this day and time. But, when you're on the field, I mean, it's still the exact same thing. You still get the same feeling and everything that goes with that.
Coach, when you spent your time on the Plains, what were some of your fondest memories of your time there?
Golly, there was a lot. I mean, obviously the Iron Bowls, that's really what sticks out. I mean, the 2010 Iron Bowl is probably my all-time favorite. I mean, that was just something real special to be a part of. We were down so big and came back and able to win that game, and the pressure was unbelievable, and it allowed us to go win a national championship. And, the kick six, I mean, that's hard to top that. To be a part of something like that was just, I feel very blessed. And, 17, 19, I mean, those are the things that really stand out as far as games go.
Yeah, so going off of the kick six, I mean, I have to ask, what was going through your head as Chris Davis started to run that back?
Yeah, before that, we had the 2-minute drive, and Nick hit Sammy Coates with, 30, 40 seconds left. And, I was really, to be honest with you, thinking overtime, and I felt like we had the momentum. I mean, we were handed off and getting 5 and 6. They were a little bit tired. Our crowd was going bananas. So I was really kind of focusing on, hey, what are we going to call in overtime and all that. Then when they got the ball past midfield, they put the 1 second back on, and they had the backup kicker. So it was a little bit different feel, and we called timeout and decided to put Chris Davis back, underneath the goalpost. And when he caught it, I just, when he got near me, of course, I'm looking, is he close to being out of bounds? He gets by me, and then, of course, I look for flags, and, like, wow, we just beat him like that. It was a really wild experience.
And just days before that, you had another one of the top 5 plays in the history of college football with the prayer at Jordan-Hare. Similar question to what Patrick just asked. What were your thoughts as you watched that play unfold?
Yeah, yeah. We were winning, and they came back and they scored a touchdown. It was tough. I think it was 4th and 18, and we had a play design where we had Ricardo going deep. Sammy Coates was, going to be right there at the sticks on a dig in case they play cloud coverage. And sure enough, they're dropping everybody back playing cloud coverage. So my eyes were on Sammy, and I thought Nick was going to throw it to him and get the first down. We have a chance to kick a field goal, and he threw it up, and I had my head down, and Rhett Lashley said he caught it, and I kind of slowly raised my head up like, okay, all right. And so, yeah, that was a real special time. Those 2 games back to back.
Now it's much more common, but when you were coming up, it wasn't as common to be able to have a high school coach come up into the college ranks. I think you were kind of proof of concept that, hey, this can work. What were the main differences that you saw when you were going from the high school ranks to the college ranks? And what do you remember about those early days about coaching on this level?
Yeah, I went straight to be the coordinator in the SEC. That was a real bizarre time, and I feel real blessed to be able to have done that. And, I inherited Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. I mean, I was very fortunate. Those were 3 of the best, and we were really good and went to the SEC championship game that year. And, what I found, the football and on the field and the coaching, it's the exact same game. I mean, you put 11 out there, you have to be sound. But when you add the recruiting and the media and everything that goes with it, that was the biggest challenge for me. Wow, the world's watching instead of 1,000 people, watching in high school. But, as far as dealing with the players and the coaching, it felt exactly the same.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the Iron Bowl earlier, and I think Alabama fans are going to want to plug their ears when I say this. Yeah, I think in your Wikipedia profile, they should start to add part owner of the Crimson Tide. You got another win against them this year. How much more did it just mean to you to be able to go ahead and beat these teams so often?
Yeah, I tell you what, you only have to experience one Iron Bowl to really get it. People can tell you about it. Oh, yeah, right. But when you experience one, it changes you. And it changed me forever. And, it's probably a little more personal for me than it is a lot of other coaches. But, with what Nick did, and, I mean, he's the best to ever do it. I think everybody knows that. And but they're still Alabama last year, and that was a big win.
I think it goes without question that if you line up all the coaches that had to go head-to-head with Nick Saban on multiple occasions, you're obviously one of the most successful coaches against him. As you think about those times, those games, and even the week of preparation going into that, what made it maybe a little bit difficult, harder, different than maybe going up against another coach that's either in your league, out of your league, bowl games and whatnot?
When you're at Auburn, it's personal. I mean, it's different. I mean, that's your rival. Pat Dye told me the very first day I got hired, if you'll do nothing but think about how you're going to be Alabama for 365 days a year, everything else takes care of itself. And he was exactly right. The longer I was there, the more I figured that out. But, it was our players. I mean, our players, they're the ones that really did it. And they believed, and we didn't try to trick them. I mean, we tried to line up and whip them. I mean, that was our goal, and our players did that, and they believed, and it's the rivalry. There's no doubt about that.
Coach, there were a lot of Auburn greats that came through while you were coaching there on the Plains. Who is one player that you always had fond memories of that really kind of flew under the radar?
Yeah, I mean, Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall's one of the better players I've ever coached in my life. I mean, what he was able to do was unbelievable. When he, in the biggest games, he played his best. He led us to the national championship. He did everything he could. I mean, they scored, the last drive, but what he did was just, it was game changing. And I was real blessed to coach him for 2 years.
Coach, I'm not sure how much you know Alex Golesh, but for Auburn fans that are hopeful that they can recreate some of the memories they had when you were the head coach, what are some of the things about him, maybe if you don't know him personally, just some of the things that will be successful for him as he starts to lay the roots here in year one?
Yeah, I've met him a couple times. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I mean, he seems like a really great guy and a really good football coach. Cody Burns is there as assistant head coach. I think that's really cool. Really important, a former player that understands Auburn, understands the rivalry and everything that goes with it. I think that's real important. But, I'll be rooting hard. Me and Christy are moving back to Auburn, and we'll be rooting hard
Coach, you talked a little bit about the state of the game now with NIL. I think I have to ask this question. Now that we're starting to see the targeting rule get talked about a little bit more, I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on, some of the punishments that come from this penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I think, setting out a half, I don't think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I mean, it's so questionable about what targeting is, what it's not. I think all coaches would agree, you're just kind of waiting to see if they say targeting or not, because it's hard to really define, what it is. And then for someone to have to set out a half, I don't think that's fair. I mean, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty, but that should be it.
Absolutely. I think you are uniquely qualified to talk about this because the championship format has changed so much just in your time. Went from the BCS and then you had a 14 playoff. Now you have a 12-team playoff. You were at a school in Central Florida who claims a national championship. Auburn added a few national championships that they claim as well. As far as the championship format now and what they're doing and maybe the extension, maybe adding teams, what is your overall thoughts about the way college football right now is crowning a national champion?
I think it was really neat for the fans this past year. And I think, from a fan standpoint, if you can do the same thing for a year or two so they kind of get used to it, and I think teams and coaches get used to it, I think that's important. I mean, I'd like them to see the calendar kind of move everything up and maybe have the championship game a week or so earlier. I think that would help a lot of the coaches and the recruiting and the portal. But, I kind of liked it. I think the fans, liked it. So, we'll see what happens.
Coach, you're starting to enter a new phase in your life, and we talked with men's golf coach Nick Kleinert yesterday. He says that he keeps in touch with you. What are some of your plans now that you have so much free time on your hands?
Yeah, really, we're going to go back to Auburn and just spend time with my 2 daughters and my 4 grandkids. I'm going to play a little golf. This college football has kind of hurt my golf game the last 20 years. When I was a high school coach, I played a lot more, but plan on playing some and just really trying to do some things I hadn't been able to do. See some friends, catch up. I don't have any kind of plans, or whatever the Lord has for me next. I'm excited about that. But for right now, I mean, we're just going to kind of catch up and have some family time.
When you think about your peers and some of the guys that came up with you at the time that you came in, what is it about this generation of coaches? And I'm adding you, I'm adding Bruce Pearl, I'm adding Coach Saban. What is it about that group of coaches and that friend group that makes that group so special? And as they're phasing out, what is some of your advice to the younger coaches that are all coming in?
Well, I mean, I'm just an old high school coach, that the Lord blessed to put me in a situation to coach. I mean, you're talking about Nick and Bruce. I mean, those guys are legends. I just was blessed to be able to do what I did as long as I was able to do that. For young coaches, just, I would just say, man, don't lose sight of what the important things are. It's a relationship with your players and taking care of them even after football. I just think really that's what it's about.
Coach, now that you are retired, what is the legacy that you hope to have left on your coaching career and some of the players?
Yeah, Lee, that's a deep question. I'm a big relationship guy. I'm a dreamer. I always wanted our players to dream and be good dads, be good husbands. And, this has been my ministry, and the Lord's put me in some unbelievable situations that I got to pinch myself every now and then, like, wow. And it's been a really fun ride, but just hopefully just been the example for young men to help them in life.
Coach, you've been absolutely phenomenal. That was, just an amazing breakdown of a phenomenal career. We hope to see you out on the golf course a little bit.
What's the handicap? I gotta ask.
Well, I'm about a 16 right now.
Okay, it's respectable.
So that's pretty ugly, but hopefully I can get it down, here before summer gets here.
Well, you got a great coach over there, Nick Kleinert. He could definitely help you out a little bit.
I played with him and Bruce over Christmas, so we'll be playing a little bit more.
What's the best part of your game?
I don't know if there's the best part right now. This summer, and I'll have a better answer for you.
We certainly will. Coach, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for your time today here on Southeast Sports Plus.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.